Hello, welcome back for another Fire Force chapter review, chapter 216. But before I get into the chapter, I want to say thank you all for 100 subscribers. I'm really happy I was able to make this milestone, of course, because of all of you. And I know my channel has changed a bit from the Fire Force only content to, well, I don't know what I'm doing now. But of course, I will always continue to do these Fire Force reviews until the series fully stops. But thank you all for 100 subscribers. But with that out of the way, let's just get straight into the chapter. Chapter 216. I'm gonna skip the cover page because it's unimportant. Oh wait, technically a chapter name. Madness of the Ages. Anyway, that's unimportant. Let's get straight into the chapter. So we first start off in the chapter with Shinra and his Adola link inside of the world of Adola. And then we come to learn that the person he is talking to is my favorite character, the best character in Fire Force, Inka Kusakabe. I think that's her name. I think that's her last name. I'm assuming it's her last name. But pretty much, Inka greets Shinra. And when it comes to their greeting, I'm very, not confused, but I guess confused is a way to necessarily spin my words. But it's odd on why Inka's talking to Shinra. Like, it doesn't really make sense for her to talk to him because it's just kind of like, why? Why is she speaking to him? Why does she want to know about, well, I'll get into that, just like the past and everything, but I'll get into that. But anyway, so Inka pretty much talks to Shinra and she explains him that she was just able to link, and because of the pillars that are popping up, the links are stronger. And I wonder, was this link a mistake or did she purposely do it to actually contact Shinra? However, we get some dialogue, which I think this certain particular dialogue is actually going to prolong the story into how long Okubo said the series should go for. And it's because Inka said that this is the prologue of the Catalysm. As I know, and as Okubo has stated before, that he expects Fire Force to go up to at least 30 volumes, which is about average of 300 chapters. So with that piece of dialogue saying it's a prologue, then that means that we have a lot more of Fire Force to go. Even though I felt once we got to this part and we're like 216, I thought we were getting towards the end. I thought we maybe had 2 more arcs left, and Fire Force arcs are pretty short, so I thought they would go by pretty quickly. So I thought we had at least 40 chapters left, maybe 50, like 50 at most. But since this is the prologue, I'm assuming we have a lot more to get into, and the story's gonna get a lot more deeper with his lore, which is gonna be great, and I love that. So pretty much we have the dialogue between Inka and Shinra, and they're pretty much talking about going back in time, since Inka knows that Shinra is able to move faster than light speed and travel himself back in time. But also, however, we get a little piece of dialogue that I thought was interesting, and that is with Inka talking about how she can only see the guaranteed future and that she can't see what's actually going to happen next. And I think that's one of the reasons why she actually ended up linking with Shinra, is because she's just one of those people who don't like being in the unknown. She wants to make sure everything is certain, and so she wants to see what fate brings. So since she can't, she's asking Shinra. As we just move on the chapter, Inka hops on Shimmer's back and they proceed to go light speed and travel back into the past to go to the first Catalysm, which happened 250 years ago. I think, yeah, 250 years ago was the Catalysm, and then the Great Disaster was 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure my timeline's are right, but I'm not sure, so let's just go with that. Now, before I get into the later half of the chapter, just want to quickly touch on page 9 real quick, and the relationship between Inka and Shinra. Oh, my boy, he got another girl in him. That's been what, 3, 4 now? And I would like to see Shinra x Inka. I think that would be very nice. I would be happy if they end up together. And I mean, Inka already said they're going to, so I can see it. I would love if it would happen. But moving on, they go back into the past and they're pretty much in the particleized state, and then they go back into the pre-Catalysm world. And this pre-Catalysm world is literally our world, or more specifically, Japan, modern day Japan. And I want to say the art, I'm pretty sure these are like screen caps that are like just CG drawn over, but I would say they still look amazing. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at one of these panels and that's clearly a Google search image. I'm pretty sure Google typed in Japanese people in office to get that panel. And if you don't know what I'm talking about on page 14, that one panel of Japanese people. I'm pretty sure you just typed that in on Google to find the stock image. But that's besides the point. Good art. Let's move on. As we move through these last few pages, Shinra begins to go insane from the sight of this old world, or technically our modern world, but for him it's his old world. And he begins to feel very nauseous, very sick, almost as if he's possessed. And so you can see the madness going on inside him. And I really wonder why he's like this. And I'm not sure if it's one of those things where it comes to time is the reason he feels like this or acts like this, if you get what I mean. You know how like time makes people mad, people begin to go crazy? Is that the reason he's feeling like this? But if that's the case, then I also have a thought that Shinra is going to go mad sometime later in the future. And I think there's been sprinkles of evidence of just madness throughout the series to support this evidence. So I can see that Shinra losing his sanity. So I think that would be really cool, because we've seen in the Chinese Peninsula arc where they kind of deal with madness there. So I think Okubo has slowly been foreshadowing / building this up, but I'm not too sure yet. I have to see how this goes on to next chapter. But that would be very interesting that Shinra actually ends up going crazy and losing his sanity because of him constantly going back into the past. As we move on to the rest of the pages, we see a guy, looks an awfully lot like Shinra, just strapped to a bed, completely strapped. Nothing's able to move anything. And there's a TV in the background, and since this is 200 years ago, 250 years ago, this is when the first catalysm happened, and we have the fifth pillar showing up for the first time, and he's just shocked. And so the chapter just ends off right there on that cliffhanger. And so I can't even begin to theorize on what I think is going to happen in the next chapter, because I legit just do not know. So I'm very curious on how Okubo is going to go with this one, because even now we still don't really understand what the pillars are or what they do. But this new flashback arc we're going into, I like it. I see where it's going. I'm really thoroughly excited for this flashback. But however, that is it for the chapter. It's a great chapter. I can't wait to see more of this flashback. I want to learn more about our world, technically, the old pre-catalysm world. So I'm really interested in see what happens there. The Lord Fire Force is kicking in again. Absolutely love this. But I hope you all have enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for 100 subscribers again. But I hope you all have enjoyed this review. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.